Commander Jack Reed stared at the inky blackness of the cave entrance, his suit's external lights barely penetrating the darkness. Behind him, the expedition team from the ISV Pathfinder waited in anxious silence. This uncharted planet had seemed perfect for colonization. Breathable atmosphere, tolerable gravity, abundant water, until the sensors detected strange energy readings emanating from this mountain range. "Sir, are you sure about this?" Lieutenant Mira asked, her voice tight with apprehension. Reed nodded. "Protocol demands investigation of all anomalous readings before colony ships arrive. Let's move." The six-person team activated their helmet lights and stepped into the darkness. Their footsteps echoed against stone walls that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. The cave extended deep into the mountain, far deeper than initial scans had indicated. "These readings are off the charts," said Tom, the science officer, studying his handheld scanner. "I've never seen element configurations like this." "Keep it tight, people," Reed commanded as the passage narrowed. "We're 2 kilometers in already." The cave suddenly widened into a vast chamber. Their lights revealed strange, geometric patterns etched into the walls, perfect hexagons, spirals, and symbols that seemed to shift when viewed directly. "This isn't natural," Mira whispered. "Someone, or something, made this." Reed approached one of the walls, his curiosity overriding caution. The symbols seemed to pulse with an inner light, responding to his proximity. "Don't touch anything," he warned, but too late. Tom had already placed his gloved hand on a pulsing symbol. The chamber flooded with light, illuminating thousands of crystalline structures hanging from the ceiling. Each crystal contained what appeared to be a suspended form, organic yet geometric, like nothing they'd ever seen. "They're alive," Tom gasped, his scanner beeping frantically. "Some kind of hibernation state." A low hum began to fill the chamber, rising in pitch until it rattled their helmets. The crystals nearest to them began to crack. "Back to the entrance, now," Reed ordered. They hadn't made it halfway across the chamber when the first crystal shattered completely. A thin, elongated form unfolded from the fragments, at least 3 meters tall, with multiple limbs and a carapace that reflected light in impossible ways. The creature's head swiveled toward them, revealing no recognizable features, just a smooth surface with pulsing veins of light. It made no sound. But the humans felt a pressure inside their skulls, a presence trying to push into their minds. "Run!" Reed shouted, firing his plasma rifle at the creature. The bolt passed through it harmlessly, as if it were made of smoke. More crystals shattered. More creatures emerged. The team fled through the narrowing passage, pursued by entities that seemed to phase through solid rock. Mira fell behind, screaming as one of the creatures reached her, her cries cut off abruptly. Reed, Tom, and the remaining 3 crew members burst from the cave entrance into the harsh daylight. But instead of stopping, the creatures continued their pursuit. "They can't," Tech Specialist Alex began, before a creature's limb passed through his chest. He collapsed, his suit's vital signs flatlining instantly. Reed reached for his emergency beacon. "Pathfinder, this is Reed. Hostile contact. Request immediate." A creature loomed before him, stretching impossibly tall against the sky. The pressure in his mind became unbearable. Images, concepts, languages he couldn't comprehend flooded his consciousness. "We'd have slept. Now we wake. This world is ours." The last 2 crew members fell silently. Only Reed remained, paralyzed by the psychic assault. Through the haze of alien thoughts invading his mind, he managed to activate the ship's emergency protocol. From orbit, the Pathfinder's automated systems detected the emergency signal. With no response from the ground team, the ship executed its final contingency measure. A single kinetic rod deployed from orbit, targeted precisely at the cave entrance. The creatures sensed the incoming threat and turned their attention skyward. The pressure in Reed's mind eased momentarily, allowing him one final act of defiance. He raised his rifle and fired at the nearest creature, not at its body, but at the ground beneath it. The superheated plasma melted the rock, creating a momentary disruption in whatever force allowed the creatures to remain stable in Earth-normal physics. The entity flickered, its form destabilizing just as the orbital strike hit. The mountainside disappeared in a blinding flash. Reed was vaporized instantly, but his final act created a cascade effect in the alien physics. The disruption spread through the collective consciousness of the awakened beings, trapping them in a loop of unstable manifestation. Aboard the colony ship approaching the system, Captain Maria Ellis received the Pathfinder's automated message, a simple text transmission, and the expedition's final sensor readings. Orbital survey only. Planet designated XD-2947 reclassified as extremely hazardous. All cave systems to be avoided. Recommend permanent quarantine. Ellis stared at the readout, then at the beautiful blue-green world growing larger in the view screen. So perfect from a distance, so deadly up close. Navigator, plot a course to our secondary target system, she ordered, and update the stellar cartography protocols. From now on, any planet with unexplained subterranean readings gets an automatic hazard classification. Her executive officer nodded grimly. What should we call the protocol, Captain? Ellis remembered the final words of Commander Reed's transmission before it devolved into static. Why do you never enter dark caves? That, she said quietly. Call it exactly that. In the decades that followed, humanity expanded cautiously through the stars. The Reed Protocol became standard procedure for all exploration teams. Countless lives were saved by those 5 simple words passed down by explorers who themselves had never set foot on XD-2947. But sometimes, on worlds light years distant from that fateful cave, sensors would detect strange energy fluctuations deep underground, and occasionally, colonists would report dreams of tall, shifting figures and the feeling of something trying to push into their minds. The caves were never entered, the warnings were always heeded, and humanity continued to thrive among the stars, wiser for having learned that some darkness is best left unexplored.